It is the second week here in December, and we are going to be baling up some corn stalks today. The ground has still got plenty of frost in it, and we should be able to get in there and make it happen. Haven't had any snow yet, which is awesome. We were hoping that that would hold off. I know when we were harvesting corn, there was a chance, and it ended up going more north of us, so that's good. But we got the New Holland 648 baler hooked up to the 4440, and we're going to go out there and get all that baled up, try to get ready for making springtime a little easier. We can get in there and just bale it, or just get in there and till it anyway. I believe that we might end up leaving the bales out there. I'm not quite sure what we got. It depends on how long this takes. I could windroll it, and that would be a little easier, but I think right now we're just going to go out there and bale it. I believe that would work. But we got the 4840 hooked up to the bale trailer. We'll end up using that. And probably taking the skid steer. I'm not sure if we'll take the skid steer out there or the other tractor and load them up. If anything, we might get them out of the field. But one thing I was going to talk about here is I mentioned on the last episode, if you watched the corn harvest, we took our 15 acres that we had standing yet. We ended up getting that off and getting that all shelled up. The totals for that was actually surprising. The yield monitor in that 1480 International is actually off a little bit. So we were based off, like, that monitor alone was kind of running about 210 bushel per acre, and we ended up getting better results than that. So our final testing that we did earlier in the week here, we ended up averaging 266 per acre, 266 bushels per acre, that is, if that makes more sense to you. That's what our average was, which is pretty good. We took in quite a few loads. Now I can show you here on our little fancy thing here. So this is what we have for corn. You can see here fruit types 140,000. Now you got to remember that grain bin that we had was completely empty. There was nothing in there. We ended up running that out, going in there and sweeping it out. So there was nothing in there at all. So this is all from this year's harvest. And I believe it's in liters, which I can't quite figure that, how to change that. And I don't really know if I want to mess with it yet until something comes out where it makes it easier for me. But so I figured it was in liters because obviously that's definitely not bushels. My gosh, we'd be buying all kinds of new stuff. 140,564. I just did the math on that to kind of figure out what that comes out at 15 acres. Basically, kind of rough to that to bushels. So if my calculations are correct, that is 4,000 bushels is what we got out of 15 acres. That number should be 4,000 bushels, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty fair. You know, it's 266 bushels per acre is what that averages out to on 15 acres. We might have been just a tad over 15 acres. I think it was like 15.1 is what that come out to. So that is actually a pretty fair amount. I'd say that's a pretty good yielding corn. So the monitor and the International just gave us like a base one, and it was off by just a little bit. So we ended up clarifying that in the final run here. So, and I don't know if you noticed on there, prices in January are pretty well. It actually picks back up. So you can see here, this is our station. This is where we sell all of our corn to. It's the closest, and it makes more sense to us, being that we don't have a hopper bottom trailer or anything like that. To drive anywhere else would we start losing more money, especially in our little operation here. So you can see the trend of how this pays out. Now, July, there's kind of a spike. It pays pretty good in July. I don't think we're going to hold our corn. We do have one more bin. We do have another 10,000 bushel bin that we haven't even touched. So we may end up saving some corn, not maybe selling it all. I would like to make some into feed, so that's possibly going to happen here. So we'll take some corn out of there, and that's probably less than 1,000 bushel that we'll use for that. So right now we're in December. It's kind of coming back up. They're going to be paying quite a bit more here in January, and then you can see the February market looks like it crashes back down. So we're looking at January selling at least a load of corn, maybe two. We'll see. And right now we have $11,613 in the bank. Obviously, we had taxes and stuff like that come out, which our taxes, I can't complain. Being that we're farm, it wasn't too bad, but I still end up having to pay that portion of it. And, you know, that takes a little bit of chunk out, because we had $18,000 left over from that auction, and you minus your deductions there. So yeah, that's a little bit of more in-depth of how we kind of figured out what we averaged, you know, per acre or per bushel. I think that's pretty good. I think for what we have, I think that's definitely good. See that first bale there? That's got to adjust a few settings here in the baler. That's a lot smaller than I'm looking for a little bit bigger than that. So, I got to put the pickup down. So yeah, that's I know I promised that last episode we'd get that through. So that's what's going on. Obviously, we're out here getting this baled up, potentially out of the field yet today. That would be ideal. But this time of year, just a slow time of the year, not a whole lot going on. I see the neighbors still got their corn stand, and I mentioned that in the last episode. I could not believe that our neighbors have their corn standing yet. The only thing I can think of is they can't get in there right now, or they're so behind on other fields. I haven't seen what's across the highway anyway. And we're going to kick this right on the hill, unfortunately. See if we can get it to not roll. Okay. Roll a little bit, which is expected. We've had them down to the fence before. So yeah, I'm just going to get this all baled up here, and that's really about it. We should be putting a few things away this episode, but for the most part, it's pretty much what we have. So and actually, if we had took a wheel rake out here, that wouldn't have been a terrible idea. It would have made things go by a lot faster, but we're kind of at the end of not really doing anything. So I got the combine I got to clean out and clean that through, and that's really about it this time of year. I got the barn that needs cleaned out again. I got to spread some manure. Other than that, we're looking boring here, so getting that time of the year where everything's done, put away. So we'll definitely be able to get this done here. Alrighty, we're just about done here. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to just have you guys join along as I finish baling this and get a little bit of radio here in the cab. Alright guys, we got that all baled up there. So we ended up getting 15 bales out of that. The last bale was a smaller bale. Ended up kicking that out anyway, just so I didn't have nothing sitting in here. And just checking on the cows there. But, so we're going to go and drop this back off, store it. And from there I think we're going to grab one of the loader tractors probably. I don't know if we'll use a skid steer or not. Probably not. Just grab the other tractor there, and we'll run that out there. Pick up them bales. And bales can technically sit out there. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. But you know, we got the time. We might as well pick them up and get them cleaned up anyway. All right, we got the 4840 hooked up to the bale trailer here, and I got the John Deere 4000 out there. It's gonna use that to move the bales around. It's a lot quicker than skid steer because you're kind of spread out. Love that New Holland, but it's just a little light in it, so when it picks them up, it does have a heck of a time. That is another purchase I think about doing here in the future, is a little bit bigger skid steer. Being that we like to use the skid steer a lot, especially cleaning out the barn. New Holland is fine for that. It just, I don't know, I think a bigger skid steer would be nice. But we'd have to go used, of course. So, yeah. I believe the next episode here, being that we're in winter, and I might as well just kind of spoil it. We are going to be doing basically some maintenance around the farm here, clean up. If we don't have a whole lot of snow or snow at all, we're going to probably get in the brush hog and get out there. Clean up these weeds that we killed with the sprayer. And I'm a little behind on that because I should have done that when I sprayed it off early in the year, and it's just been wrong. So I think what I'm going to do is take care of that. That'll at least kill that. The only other thing we got to worry about is manure. We do have a little bit built up in our pit that we emptied out of the barn the other day, so we'll end up emptying the barn probably tomorrow. I would say probably tomorrow I'll empty the barn out, so that'll make it just about full. Be enough to haul for a few hours anyway. But we're gonna load this up. This 4840 can handle it pretty well. Just I have issues with this trailer. Sometimes I have to load them one front, one in the back, just for weight wise. So other than that, 15 bales. It won't take a whole lot to get these out of here, and I might as well do it since I'm already motivated for it. That way in the springtime, like I said, I can just come on here and do my tillage and not have to worry about picking bales out of the field. So especially if it's going to be a wet spring, that'll delay things waiting for it to dry up for tillage, and then you gotta wait to get the bales out. So just one less process that we have to worry about. Gotta use your time efficient here and make sure you use it. So this is that smaller bale. We got two of them. We'll end up throwing them basically right out to the cows. I could use one in the barn for sure. So I'm going to set that off to the side because I'll take that back with this tractor. Both small bales. I could fit two on here. I got them widened out, bale spears here. I got them widened out so I can get two at a time if I need to. Kind of nice. So you can kind of fit between them. If you noticed, I had to put the weight on the back of this old girl. So picking up these round bales, they're not light, so this tractor here unfortunately would have like I said, just kind of like the skid steer, would be a little bit too much weight in the front, and it'd be a little bit of a struggle. But alright, get things moved over there. Alright, we got our first load here, and it is not pretty. I'm going to tell you that. I did struggle with that, getting them bales on top. But they're on here. And I'm just going to take the tractor. There's 3 bales left in the field, so I'm just going to run them back and forth, get them out of by the field, and they'll end up going over by the cows anyway. So that's last year's corn stalk bales. So we still got a few. Combine, I gotta wash that yet. Clean that up. Alrighty, we are on our last bale out of the field here. And I think that's pretty much going to wrap up the episode. Like I said, look forward to the next one here. We're going to be doing some maintenance around the farm. I know it's odd, but if we don't get snow, we're going to be doing some brush hogging. Take care of a lot of these weeds around this farm. Stuff that I don't really care to see. And I probably should have got to when I was mowing my last crop, because it was dead by then, so. But I'm going to get these bales unloaded here off this trailer, and we're going to catch you guys on the next episode. Appreciate you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and look forward to the next one. Have a good